But somebody responded, MD McKenzie last night. There's the podcast, which we do the live, and then we put it back up. And then at times, and it's just kind of dependent on my evening, I'll go back in and see if there are comments, and 98% of them are great, talking about the segment, the show, some ideas and opinions, and there's always a couple of knuckleheads as well. That's okay. MD McKenzie came on and was talking about, you can talk about Kansas and TCU all you want. You can discuss what you want about whoever, but the most popular game and the best game is going to be Texas and Oklahoma. And that might be true. But here's
best game.
Even if it's perceived a down year for Oklahoma and Texas, it's still bigger and more desirable to the majority of college football fans across the nation. I understand that can be tough to accept when it just doesn't seem fair. It's not hard to accept. It is the more popular game. It is the bigger brand game. It's going to be on ABC. It will have big numbers, at least until one team, maybe Texas, opens up a 30-point can. If that's the case, Notre Dame would win every national championship based on who's the most popular or the highest ratings. If that's the case in the NFL, who would have 25 consecutive Super Bowls?
I'm a Cowboys fan, and if that's the metric we're using, there's a lot of Lombardi trophies in the front hallway that are missing because they're the best ratings no matter what happens. And don't forget that ratings are not always about love watching. They're also, especially for the Cowboys, about hate watching. People will watch the Cowboys and be like, look at them losing to the Broncos.
Yeah. People love to watch
They love it.
But
congratulations on your cable ratings national championship.
Yeah.
That's so much better than the actual national championship. And enjoy that, MD McKenzie or whatever. There was part of that that really struck a chord with me as the obnoxiousness that I despise from certain college football fans. Like kind of how they can never lose. Like, yeah, we're 0-10, but we still got 100,000 people in the stands. You sorry 9-4 with only 50,000. There's always this, we have more fans or we've been around longer or whatever. It's always fall back on history when things aren't going your way. It's almost like you can never lose that way. It's almost like it's kind of rigged that way. So really going out on a pedestal there, or a limb there, I should say. But you can talk about all you want, but this is still the best game, blah, 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 and all that. That's just so obnoxious. That's just so obnoxious. And I think that's totally false in this case. I don't think it'll be the best game. We will talk about who we want to talk about. Thank you for allowing us to talk about what we want to talk about, MD McKenzie. But, man, you are the type of obnoxious that I don't enjoy from college football fans sometimes.
Carl Page, you can count me as a knucklehead. Yeah, we've gone back and forth a couple of times. Thanks for being a part of the show. And the best worst game, that's a good way to put it, is Texas-Oklahoma. The point is that, yes, I would think it may have 2 or 3 times the amount of people watching, but does that scratch your itch? Because it's not the best game. It's not the most important game, although it could launch one of the other 2 teams, whoever wins tomorrow, maybe back into a nice little groove. But that's like saying that Ohio State and Michigan are both 500 and they play each other. The Army-Navy.
The Big Ten.
Yeah.
Those aren't the best games, but they have the biggest fan bases. So, they get the most money. That's great. But does that mean I want to watch them because they have the most money and the most viewers? No, I don't. I still want to watch the game that has less money and less viewers because it's the better freaking game. I don't care that Iowa State, Oklahoma State have less alumni than Michigan and Michigan State. Iowa State and whoever I just said could still be a better game. So, that's where that obnoxiousness comes in.
And a lot of this, don't you think, Craig, and I'm not trying to, isn't it because we've gotten so caught up in all these TV numbers because of the realignment?
I've been trying to say this, that's why, I'll mention the ratings and all that, but when we start getting into, the comparing the ratings of, Iowa, Illinois had more than Notre Dame versus UConn. It's I don't care, man. I'm just watching college football. If I was a TV network executive, then maybe I would give a dang about the ratings on a weekly basis, but for the most part, I don't. If you got a healthy number, congrats to you, but I don't have lines drawn in the sand. I live in Big 12 country, and I root for a Big 12 team. That's going to be an SEC team. And guess what? They'll go to the SEC, and nothing changes for me. I don't start chanting SEC. Like, it's not tribalistic like that for me. I just like good college football, so I don't care about your TV rating or your allegiance or any of that. Just
or how
give
big
me
your endowment
or
might
your
be.
endowment or whatever lame thing you want to point to, because you can't point to actually what the game's about, which is winning on the field. Like, I always hear these things not when the team's winning. You don't hear Alabama fan bragging about their TV rating rather than their winning, because they're bragging about their winning. And they have that other stuff they can tack on as they want to, but they start with the winning. And it's the others that aren't winning. They go, well, yeah, we just got this scholarship fund that's bigger than any. And it's like, okay, if you need some some bragging rights that badly, by all means, but I think it just comes across as pretty lame to anybody that sees through what you're trying to do.
The other thing I would say about tribalism is just be aware that you may have bought into a brand. Just because a brand is big doesn't mean that it's better. Look, there are lots of Burger Kings out there, and Burger King is fine, but there are a million burger places that are much smaller and local.
Family owned and operated.
Their burger.
No, Burger King makes more money, Paul.
Yeah.
Burger King has more visitors, Paul. It's automatically better than everything.
Yeah, but their burger's better. I mean, it just tastes better.
No.
It's better. It's got better ingredients and all that stuff. So that's just how it is.
I wanted to bring that up because I knew we would get
Yeah.
into a pretty good discussion, and a lot of you in the
But-
chat room are also having fun with it.
Yeah,
so wins and losses matter. If you don't do that, go to the ratings. If you don't do that, talk about your endowment. It's kind of where we are. Go ahead.
I mean, that guy is the Mickey D's of college football fans. Let me just say that. And I think that sometimes, too, it's a self-esteem thing. And I try to be mindful of that to some extent. But, like, I just think that you want to take shots, and fine, we can fire them right back. But I do think there's this kind of need to feel superior. You're like, oh, I'm a this and that fan, and you're just a measly this type of fan. Like, there's this social class of fandom that I see a lot in college football, and it comes down to we have more fans, and we have a bigger TV deal and all of that. And you just got to realize sometimes that this is somebody trying to prop themselves up a little bit. So take that into account.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Great comments on the chat room for that, and we appreciate you all of the time. Carl Pays, I love you, man. Love the back and